Because today we are coming to you right from Nakuru County, that is Nakuru City, and we are coming to you straight from the Rift Valley Institute of Science and Technology as we talk about matters to do with TVET in the education sector. Just how important is the TVET and what is the contribution to the entire republic? How are we preparing our students in the future, for the future rather, and also some of the collaborations and also an important aspect that is the Jitume program by the government. We shall be handling that, and on set with me, we shall be having a success story from that. She calls herself a master of trainers. What does that mean? We shall be having that discussion with her a little bit later. But on set with me is Dan Mutai, Daktari, Executive Director, Kabarak University TVET Institute. Welcome on set, sir. And also Jen Wangui Kuria, who is the beneficiary of Jitume. Welcome on set. And we have Sami Chemoiwo, Chief Principal, the Rift Valley National Polytechnic. And we'll start with you because you are playing host to us today. Now, Doctor, when we talk about matters to do with TVET, it is a subject that when we sit today, we realize that the TVET continues to produce individuals who are ready for the market. And we look the world over, we need skilled labor, and TVET is playing that role. So as we sit today, why is TVET important for this republic and the world at large? Because we are exporting skilled labor.
Thank you very much. Now, TVET, as a country, we have come out of a very difficult situation where we have shortages of employment. And we went initially to the white-collar jobs, ignoring what we call the blue-collar jobs. And that is where the economy is. If you go to many countries, what makes a country grow is what products they produce to serve the market. And that's what we have realized as a country. And the whole globe is going in that direction. That is where we go to TVET, Technical, Vocational and Education Training, where we go towards what we call CBET. And the purpose is to train and skill. Actually, we are saying to skill the youth for production. For production, not necessarily management. Management, we have very few skills, but we need to produce, and that's where we are heading to as a country. And as a TVET, we call ourselves the key. We are the key to success in life. If we are able to skill our youth, both for local and international market, we will be home and dry, and we shall sort out most of our problems. We are talking of 68% of our population being youth. We need to equip them, retool them, make them have the skills. That is our target.
And I come to you, Dr. Now, you lead an institution that started around 2021. Now, as we speak today, that's around 4 years of TVET. That is Kabarak Technical Vocational Training. Now, as we talk about the Kabarak TVET, what informed the decision of setting up TVET at Kabarak?
Thank you. Kabarak started in 2021 to take the first TVET students. As you are all aware that Kabara community has a primary school, Kabara community has a secondary school, Kabara community has also a university. The only institution which was missing was TVET. And because of the quality of training being offered at the university, at Kabara community in general, there has been high demand for TVET programs to allow those who have been disadvantaged by the traditional education to undertake also TVET programs. As they prepare, it provides a pathway for those who may not have had the minimum qualification to take a university degree. However, there is also a need in this region that the city of Nakuru has been promoted, and therefore there is high demand for skilled labor workforce because currently there is a lot of expansion in the city, expansion of roads, water services, sanitation, electricity, hospitality. Think about anything technical. If you and you know Nakuru is a central place. If you face north, you go all the way to Turkana, Lake Baringo, and you are all aware of the flamingos which migrate from Lake Nakuru to Lake Baringo. Look at to the south. We have Masai Mara, where we have also hospitality. We have tourists, and hospitality experts are also required. Think of East. Mount Kenya region. Think of East also, Naivasha. There are quite a number of sceneries there, and there are quite a number of hospitality industries coming up, and therefore we need qualified workers to man and to run those programs.
And we were talking to Jane, who is considered to be one of the success stories from this institution. And Jane, they call you the master of trainers. What does that mean? And why are you being called a master?
Thank you for that question. I'm a master trainer because I started as a tasker. I was promoted to being a trainer, and now I'm training trainers. And that's why I'm a master trainer, because I'm training trainers right now.
And when you talk about you training trainers, this is under the Jitume program. So just what is the Jitume program that has been set up by the government?
The government has really helped in Jitume program because it has offered the VDIs to all the TVET institutions in Kenya. And now the TVET institutions in Kenya, they need trainers so that they can be in a position to train the youths in the institutions. And that's why now I'm training trainers from all TVET institutions to go back to the institution and train the youths over there.
Have you graduated?
Yes, I have a certificate. Yes.
And when we talk about matters to do with Jitume program, it has been set up here. We went through the incubation hubs that do exist here. We have the laboratories that do exist here. And we actually even saw students in there applying their trade. And some of the lecturers that you're talking to are saying, some of these students would say hi to you while going about their classes, but in the evening they are washing their cars. That means something is going right when it comes to matters to do with Jitume. So the collaboration for Jitume with the national government setting up such initiatives in TVETs, how has that elevated the status of TVETs, and how has that equally just opened new doors for TVETs?
Thank you very much. Jitume is initially it's actually a government project, and it began way back in 2022, and the purpose mainly was, how do we engage the youth? Because the whole world is digital. And the government gave computers to institutions and gave the internet connectivity so that we are able to train youth to work in the global market online. So you are in Kenya, you are working in you are working and all that. People just found it to be a joke when the president said, "Tap Tengele," you tap it and the dollars came in.
Dollars come in.
Yeah, she is a product of that. When she sits here, she's a dollar and she earns the dollars. So what happened is we moved with it as an institution. So we set up Jitume Hub, like any other college, and we collaborated with those fellows who are in the industry. What we believed in is for you to train, if you want to train a carpenter, for example, you must first of all be a carpenter yourself. So there's no way you can bring a fellow who knows something about carpentry and train a person to be a carpenter. It must be a carpenter. So what we did is we engaged those who are in the market, those who are doing various platforms on online jobs. We brought them on board, and we were able to train our youth, our trainers and the students. It was open to all, students, trainers, and the neighboring youth. And from there, we picked the best. So we went down to the top 10. Within 3 months, the top 10 were earning over 30,000, 20,000 per week. And those are the fellows we picked. Now, when we had that success story, because we already had about 200 students who were earning, and others were actually from the neighborhood youth. So the question was, how do we make other hubs in the neighboring communities, in the neighboring institutions? Because about 116 institutions had VDIs. But the problem was, how to use them. How do you engage the youth in those labs? So the government came up with training trainers. So we teamed up with Kenya School of TVET. Kenya School of TVET had the pedagogy. Rift Valley National Polytechnic had the skill. So we had to combine the skill and the pedagogy. How do you train a person? And then the skill which you want to train. And that is where the master trainers came in from. And we started now preparing what we call now the Jitume Training Center. So the Jitume Training Center is separate from the Jitume Hub. The Jitume Hub is where the workers, the taskers, earn their money. While the Jitume Training Center is where we prepare the youth. The purpose is we separate those who are working and those who are training, because we have 100 computers for workers who are working 24/7. If you go there now, you'll find them working. They are earning their own money. Some are in class in the morning, in the evening they are in the labs. So we separate the two with different connectivity, internet connectivity with different IP addresses, so that we are able to train those who don't have the skill. And initially it was for training in the neighborhood. Currently we are actually training nationally. Today we were able to graduate 116 trainers from 75 technical training institutions in Kenya who are being trained on how to manage and how to train other youth. That's where we are as an institution.
Yeah, and Daktari, as Chemo speaks in terms of having Jitume in place, the national government coming through and making sure that this actually works, and there is a curriculum that is working and all that. In terms of collaboration with the national government, investing in TVETs, and also just ensuring that the curriculum that does exist actually works for the benefit of the students that we are getting out of these institutions. How important is that synergy and collaboration between institutions?
Thank you. In terms of collaboration is bringing all the expertise together for purposes of working as a team and for purposes of bringing the expertise. When you get an expert from the industry, for example, collaboration cuts across. It's not only training institution alone, it also touches on the industries. So that you are able to bridge the learning, create a bridge between learning and the industry. Because we know the industry are moving faster in terms of acquisition of technology. Whereas the training institutions have a curriculum. However, this curriculum needs to be reviewed from time to time, but it is not possible to review it every other time. The only option is to collaborate with the industries and be able to bring in new technologies into the training to enhance quality training, and also for the graduates to cope up with the new technologies coming up in the market. So collaboration is quite important. Institutions are not well endowed with everything. There are those who are expert in certain areas. It's like music. There are those who are very good in choir. There are those who are very good in traditional dancers. There are those who are very good in purely dancing. There are those who are very good in being soloists. So it is the same thing in terms of TVET also. We require all the expertise in that area. And collaboration is quite important because we are all looking at developing quality workforce that will be able to uplift the economy of this country. The target is to improve the economy of this country, and by improving the economy of the country, we'll start by improving the economy of the families, of communities, and the economy of the country will go up. And therefore, collaboration means we need to sweep, to clear anybody who has not had a chance to train and be able to be trained. It also gives an opportunity to choose where to train, because there are those students who are interested in blue economy. Then they are free to move and train in places where the training facilities are available. There are those who are in agri-business areas, they can also move there. So by collaborating, one advantage which we have seen in TVET institution is there is no time institutions have quarreled over student crisscrossing one county to the other in terms of looking for institutions to learn.
Yes. And I come to you, Jane. Jane, it is when we were seated in the boardroom, I could overhear you speaking in terms of some of the tasks that you undertake. We know electric cars are coming. That seems to be one of the areas that you are interested in. And I was fascinated just to understand in terms of this Jitume program, because most of the people think when you get into Jitume program is you're doing assignments or what, but you're doing big things, you and Elon on the same league. So just take us through some of the tasks that the Jitume program has actually opened up these doors for you.
The first one, we do 3D tasks and 2D tasks. And when I say 2D and 3D, I don't want your mind to go back to school. I want you to focus on the Jitume program because they are two different things. And when I say 2D, 3D projects, you see there are upcoming upcoming of self-driven cars, and those self-driven cars, they need people on the ground to control them because they cannot do without a human being. Also, we have Amazon, and we've seen big companies like Amazon's. They work with robots. Those robots, they have to work with a human being. They cannot control themselves. So we here on the ground, having this Jitume program, we are the one who controls the robots and the self-driven cars. Sometimes you get a task of maybe it's a farm, there's a pick of maybe tomato that you have to say whether it is ripe or it is stage 1, stage 2 or flower. Why? Because the thing that is going to pick the tomatoes in the farm are the robots, and they don't know what is ripe and what is not ripe. So you have to be very accurate in what you're doing, because whatever you're doing, you are controlling the robots in a farm or in a company doing some work. Yeah, that's what we does.
So Chimago, 2D, 3D, robotics, Elon, electric cars, self-driven cars, all that is happening at a laboratory in your institution. As we sit here today, TVET is celebrating 100 years. And also, this institution has existed for 45 years. Now, in terms of what next for the TVET institutions across the country, equally, as we sit here, we also know that you are just waiting for that charter that will make you be the national polytechnic. So the next 100 years for the Rift Valley National Polytechnic, how does that look like? What's the vision like in terms of continuing to bring the next Elons that are sitting next to you?
Yeah, thank you very much. Okay, what they are doing is what we call AI jobs, artificial intelligence.
Yes.
So they are collecting data, they are used for programming and all that. And that is where the world is heading to. And we have to be realistic. Most of the tasks which are being done most of them will be mechanized or automated. So the physical jobs we have been doing will be taken over by machines. And that is why we need to retool our youth, to skill our youth, not only for the local market, it is for the global market. And as an institution, we are 45 years old. We are one of the institutions which are leading in the field of technical training. Jitume is one of them, one of the examples. We are doing quite a number of things. Actually, we are a global institution, if you may want to know. We are for example, we have been recognized by the World Federation of Colleges and Polytechnics in Sustainable Development Goals, as we are award winners, gold award winners. We, in management, we have been recognized also as leaders in inclusion and diversity and various other awards globally, where we are competing with all the other institutions in UK, Canada, Australia, and all that. We are going to be awarded in indigenous education in Jamaica come September this year in September. So what are we doing? We are setting the pace. We are working with the friends across the globe. We have colleges like Humber College in Canada. We are working together. We are trying to develop new curriculum and what we call CBET. The new world in the next 50 years, 100 years is technology purely. And that is why we come up with what we call a dual training. We don't want anymore to train people in the ground here and then tomorrow when they go to the market, they are learning new things. They are wondering what is going on, then they are supposed to be retrained. We want a person, when the person is trained, is either competent or not yet competent. And when the person we say is competent, should be able to just walk into the industry and work, whether it is in Jamaica, it's in Canada, it's in Germany. And some of our students, for example, the other day, the government we were flagging off about 300 youth to go to UK. We have some of our youths who are working in Germany. We have others who are working in Canada. They are working in various industries. Dual training, when we talk of dual training, it's what we are actually doing is the institutions are not necessarily endowed with tools and equipment sufficient to prepare the students for the market. Some of the equipment are found in the industry. So the students are trained in college and also trained in the industry. They take maybe 3 months in college, 3 months in the industry, training, not working, but training in the real environment. Now, we do that with the industry, but sometimes also the dual training is done in college. So you'll find that within the college you have a production line, which is real. So that the trainees are doing the training and then doing that. For example, here in Harvest, we do garments from our own production lines. We do bakery. We make our own breads, our own products. We do our own milk. We do our own pork. And the students are able to learn in practice. So when we talk of dual training, it's in the actual production line and in class. So we are able to do the two. And we are moving to CBET because with the digital and online, there's no room for asking a student to define things. You just tap. The kid, when you go home, the child knows more than the father or the mother. Because with the laptop, with the computers, with the phones, you are able just to tap and ask the computer, what does this mean? Or the phone, and it will tell. In fact, sometimes it even gives in voice. So we don't want to be assessing the theory. We want to assess the skill. That is where we are heading.
Yeah. And when we talk about matters to do with TVET, a lot is happening and a lot is changing. Technology, they say, is the way to go. We have terms like dual training. We also have the CBET. What does it mean for the institutions? And that is why when we come back after this break, Daktari will be breaking that down for us so that we understand when we talk about dual training. Mr. Chimewa has alluded to that, but let's just expound on that and equally continue talking about the successes that we have in this country. See you after the break.